So we have a little tip on entertaining, and this is a take on an old classic recipe of mine, chicken piccata. And I have actually this recipe on my Zia Linda website, and it's probably a lot more calorie laden than the one we're making tonight. This one is, the chicken, and instead of using flour, I'm using a combination of garbanzo bean flour and brown rice flour. So it's still going to give me that little kind of fricassee with the egg batter texture, but I'm not using flour. So anybody actually who maybe have a gluten allergy or not be having flour, this is a wonderful alternative. So what I've done is I've taken chicken breasts, and I do have a video, I believe, on making the chicken piccata, so you can, and preparing chicken. So you can probably look at one of those to see how I fillet the breast. But literally one chicken breast, one decent sized chicken breast, I can get 3 to 4 chicken fillets. And that's what I've done. We're having some people over. I'm making dinner, and this is part of our dinner. So I actually used 3 large chicken breasts, and I filleted them, and this is essentially what I ended up with. I washed my poultry, so I've washed them, dried it, patted it down. I wanted to get off all the excess water, and then salt and peppered it. And then I've got the combination of the 2 flours here, the garbanzo bean and the brown rice, and then I have actually 4 eggs, and I've added some salt and pepper to this, a little salt and pepper to this, and of course, as I've said, there's salt and pepper on this. And so it's really pretty simple. And I use these, like little Chinese food takeout containers. They're great as a little station to do breading or dipping. And so I'm just gonna nicely coat this and then put this in here. Now, I learned from a chef friend, a wet hand and a dry hand. So you should really use one hand to do the dry ingredient and then another hand to do the wet. And I'm actually going to do that. So I'm going to use this hand, which is my dominant hand, to do the wet. And I think I've got everything well coated. I'm going to use one of these to transfer this over here. And I have some hot oil cooking. So I'm going to put that right in to the hot oil. And I'm going to do another. And I'm going to start now with my dry hand. So I'm just going to show you a couple, and then I'm going to come back because there is a sauce, obviously, that goes with this. And I'll show you how I prepare that. But I just wanted to show you how I do these. And then when I come back, after I put this other one in, I'll show you the end result of what this looks like once they're cooked up. And so what I'll end up doing is I'll cook these. I'll put them in a pan, I'll make the sauce, put the sauce over it, and then keep them warm in the oven so that when our guests arrive, we can have, this will already be done. It's not something I have to worry about doing while they're here. It's really pretty simple, as you can see. So I'm going to continue on and do this, and then I'll be back and I'll show you the sauce and the end result. Hello there. So I'm cooking up some chicken piccata. And these are those first 2 chicken fillets that I put in. And they look very close to being done. And I am going to put them in the oven, so I'm going to finish them off there. I just want them to get a nice golden brown like this. I don't really want to cook them too much. I don't want to get them, I definitely want to cook the chicken as much as I can, but I don't want to burn the chicken. So I'm going to actually add a couple more now that there's some room. And I think there's enough room to put one more in there. Let's try this one. So what I did was I went ahead and I breaded them all, or I floured them with our garbanzo and our brown rice flour, and put the egg, and this one's starting to puff up a little here. And then I got them all set, put them in these little containers, brought them over here to make it easy. So now all I'm doing is just frying. I could actually lay out a paper towel on here if I want to, but I'm going to use some of the oil that comes from this as part of the sauce, because I really don't want to put a lot of oil in the sauce that I'm making. So some of this residual oil will get used as part of the sauce that's going to go on the chicken. So there's that much less that I'm using. So this one is done, and I'm just going to put them in here as they finish, and I'll add more. Now, there's many schools of thought with regards to, making cutlets or even chicken piccata. Some people like double batter them. You could do that. I don't. I just do it once. I prefer to put the flour on. Some people actually like to mix the flour along with the egg mixture. They mix it all together, and then there's one quick dip. You can do that too. It's just not my preference, so that's not how I do it. This is how I do it. So I'm going to continue frying here. I just wanted to show you this, but while we're over here on the stove, I just wanted to show you one of the other dishes that I talked about a little earlier, and that is the pancetta with the Brussels sprouts. I rendered the pancetta, put the Brussels sprouts in, add just a touch of oil, because there was some oil with the pancetta, natural oil from the pancetta. Put a little bit of salt and pepper. That still needs to cook more. It needs to be seasoned up a bit, and it's off the heat. But I just wanted to get it started, so that once this is done, I can move on to making my cauliflower mash. I'm not so sure if you can see that in there, but that is the cauliflower that has been steamed. And just an aside for the 21-day fix, 22-minute hardcore, any program that you're following, steaming vegetables is awesome. You put there's some water in the bottom there. There's like a little colander. In Italian, we could say a scola pasta. It took me forever to understand and to remember the English word for colander is not a scola pasta, it is a colander. So you put your vegetable in the colander, and then you kind of put a top on it just a little bit. You leave it off a little so it can steam, and it will steam whatever kind of vegetable you like. But this is cauliflower, and we're going to make that delicious cauliflower mash with that. Where I have added some additional chicken here, the oil needs to be kicked up a bit more, so I've just turned the heat up on that a little bit. I'm going to finish frying these. That won't take all that long, and then I'll come back and we're going to make the sauce. And then after the sauce, if there's time, I'll show you one of my quick appetizers to pull together to make a nice little cheese board. It'll have a lot more than cheese on it, of course, here at the Sousas. See you in a few. Hello there. Back again, and we're entertaining with some chicken piccata tonight. And it's a healthier version. So I'm putting together the sauce. I'm just going to put that together very quickly. It's really very simple. I put a little bit of butter in the pan, literally probably, let's see, not even a half a cup, probably two and a half, almost 3 tablespoons of butter in the pan. This right now is 3 lemons that I've squeezed out all the juice, and I put a touch of oil, probably less than 1/4 cup of oil. And I have that in there. This is capers. I got some organic capers. I've had them sitting in water. I've rinsed the water a couple of times because I don't like that briny taste of the capers. So now these are in here. They're nice and cleaned. And what I'm going to do actually is just empty out or take out the water, strain it out. And I'm going to take these capers and I'm going to add them to my little mixture over here. Let's see. All right. So I think I've got most of the water out. There we go. Want to get all those little caper goodness in there. And that's that. The other thing that I can add, which gives it some nice flavor, is some nice chicken stock. And you can use whatever kind of chicken stock you want. Sometimes I get organic. This happens to be no unsalted chicken stock. And because I'm trying to cut down at least where I can to make it the healthiest version possible. There. And I'm going to add a little bit of chicken stock. So I want some really good flavor in here. You could always make your own chicken stock. You know, when you're cleaning the chicken to get those fillets, you could bag all the little scraps, put them in the freezer, and when you have a chance, make your own homemade stock. There's so many ways to make things and make things nice and healthy and delicious. I like to add lemon slices to my piccata. Something to me about the zest, and I am actually going to zest the rest of this. So I'm just going to put a few, because I like them, look pretty on there. And I'm going to get my zester, and which is what I probably should have done before I squeezed out the lemon, but I'm in a rush. So when I'm in a rush, sometimes I do things a little backwards. So here I'm just zesting this half a lemon. I'm going to put that in there just to give that additional lemon flavor. But I probably would do the whole lemon. But I don't have a ton of piccata, and these really won't zest well because they're out of the, actually they're not so bad. There. We make do with what we can, right? So there's that, and I do want to get the rest of this juice. And I'm going to squeeze this juice too. I'm getting all that lemony goodness, much of it as I can. I love this little juicer. There. I could do 2 cans of the capers, but for me, I think 1 is fine. It's plenty. And I'm just going to let this cook a bit. What I do want to do is add some white wine. A little bit of Malvesa to this. Wine always makes everything just a little better, right? So just a little white wine. I want that to cook off a little bit. So I'm going to let that cook just a bit. Let that lemon zest really kind of get in there. And I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to bring this over here so you can see it. It's just delicious lemony goodness. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these and I'm going to put them in here because I want them to soften a bit and cook a little bit with my capers. So we're going to let that cook for a few minutes. We'll be right back, and then I will show you the finished product, our chicken piccata. Hello, back again, and now we're going to finish off our chicken piccata. This smells so wonderful. You can smell actually a little hint of that white wine, the lemon, all the goodness of the capers. I'm actually just going to take this and pour this right over that. Look at that. That look fabulous. And then I'm going to put this in the oven because our guests will arrive and we're going to have some appetizers and we'll have some other wonderful things. So you want to take a look at that. That looks awesome, and it's going to taste just as awesome. And then we'll be back, and I will actually show you one more thing that is going to be part of our dessert tonight.